All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we out here on the lake and it's springtime, slight drizzle, 58, 59 degrees. These fish are starting to move into the shallows. They're starting to get ready to spawn. So I wanted to talk to you guys about something. An underrated bait, an overlooked bait when it comes to spawning bass. When you think of this bait, it's a very dominant bait. People use it year round and catches a lot of fish, but you don't technically consider it a spawning bait. And I'm here to tell you guys otherwise. This is one of my favorite, if not my most favorite, springtime spawning bait. When fish are literally locked on bed. You may be able to see them, you may not be able to see them. But when they're in those shallows, most specifically off-colored water, this can be a very dangerous deal. So stay tuned, we're gonna break it down. All right, guys, as you can see, I'm moving and working my way back into this pocket. I got the main lake right behind me. Those fish are starting to funnel in from the main lake, utilizing creek channels, and then they'll start to push up into the shallows. And what we're looking for is shallow water cover that they're gonna eventually lay their eggs. These fish will actually pre-spawn on these places and then ultimately not move far at all and bed right there in the same places. And once again, the best bait to cover water and trigger some of those pre-spawn and spawning bass is nothing better than a chatterbait. So I'm gonna start fanning, casting down the bank, covering some of these areas, making very precise casts on places where I would visually expect to see a fish if the water was clear actually spawning. That's the key. So we're gonna just roll down the bank and we're gonna start casting in these areas where I think a fish would actually spawn. Another reason why a chatterbait's an excellent choice in this springtime condition, because these fish, they get way up underneath these limbs and lay down sometimes, and that's where they're gonna bed. And it's hard to reach with a lot of different baits. Sure, you can come down through here, flipping and pitching and make very accurate, precise casts, but you consume a lot of time. And oftentimes, as a professional angler, I don't have a lot of time, so I need to kind of roll. So a chatterbait skips excellently. And that's another reason why I like to choose this bait. All right, guys, of course, we gotta talk tackle. What exactly do you need when throwing a chatterbait? My setup, for the most part, stays the same year round, but the one thing I do like to do in the springtime, because I know I'm fishing around a lot of big fish because those females are moving up, I will upsize my line. So I like 17, or in the spring, 20-pound Seaguar fluorocarbon. My fluorocarbon of choice from Seaguar is going to be Abrazex. Of course, you're fishing around a lot of cover. You need that little bit extra abrasion resistance. At least that's my thought pattern. So I like Abrazex. For the rod, I have the same rod, and I'll usually have 3 or 4 of these rods rigged up with this chatterbait. I'm throwing a 7'2" medium heavy Big Sexy by Favorite. I got 20-pound fluorocarbon, as I stated, and a 6/8-to-1 Johnny Morris Platinum reel. I really like the 6/8-to-1. The reason for that is with a higher speed reels, your 7s, your 8s, they're even making them like 10 now. You just fish the bait through the cover and past the fish a little bit too fast. When I'm in tournament mode, I'm already wanting to move really fast. So having the ability to slow down due to my reel, that really helps me out, because I make that cast and I'm kind of wanting to hurry up. The reel kind of slows me down and puts me back where I need to be. So that's what I like to do for the reel. As far as the bait goes, I'll generally have 3 different chatterbaits tied on when I'm fishing bedding bass, in 3 different colors, depending on water clarity. But most times you're gonna be fishing an off-colored water scenario, so I'm gonna go with one of 2 options: a very dark silhouetting pattern, like this bruised green pumpkin jackhammer with a green pumpkin trailer, razor shad, or I'm gonna throw something bright, something that stands out. And so I use 2 different colors for that. So for that situation, I'll have 2 bright colored baits, and it's really hard to beat, tried and true, this has been around forever, a white and chartreuse pattern bait. Okay, now this is a white and chartreuse Z-Man jackhammer, and I have a Z-Man razor shad. 99% of the time, 99.999, I'm throwing a Z-Man Razor Shad as my trailer. I love these trailers. They're extremely durable. You can catch multiple fish without changing them. They won't tear up on you, and they're relatively buoyant, keeping that bait kind of up in the water column, because a lot of times we're fishing really shallow, 0 to 2.5, 3 feet. So you need a little bit of lift sometimes. The rare occasion I will not throw a Z-Man Razor Shad, I'll opt for another brand bait, is when I want to actually add some color to the tail. Like right here, this is a Z-Man Jackhammer again, and Fire Crawl. Very popular color in the springtime. Of course, red kind of rules in the spring, and this is one that you have to have tied on in the springtime. And I have a green pumpkin trailer on there dipped in orange because I really want that to stand out. This is going to be a dirty water scenario bait. So a couple different options there for you. All three of these rods are rigged up the exact same. Now, in a clear water scenario, I might opt to throw clear water shad or white, or you know, something that's less aggressive and doesn't have quite the color to it. And believe it or not, your black and blues and your green pumpkins, although they're very dark, these actually work really good in clear water as well. So those are my 3 setups that I like to use when I'm fishing and targeting spawning bass specifically. So hope this helps you guys catch a few. I'm gonna make a few casts, see if we can't reel this one in on this chatterbait. So hopefully you learned something from this video. I'm telling you, the time is now to pick up these vibrating jigs, aka unnamed vibrating bait, aka chatterbaits, right? Specifically, the jackhammer is my favorite, but there's a lot of great choices out there. David Walker just came out with one that's amazing called the cross-eyed chatterbait. It has a weed guard on it. You can throw it through brush, tules, pencil reeds, etc. That's another amazing choice. But the time is now. Get you some beefed up equipment, put the big string on, 20-pound test, grab yourself some chatterbaits, start casting shallow at them spawning targets, and hold on.